Guys, there's a, Austin Katzenberger outside. He said he's here to, light the boats on fire, but that's already done. What should I tell him? Should I invite him in for mimosa, or should I just say, sorry, don't need you?
Wait. Was he here to light the coffins on fire or to light the navies on fire? Because we could put him to use a couple different ways. Oh.
He said he's a Viking funeral expert.
I see.
Well, yeah, we don't need those anymore.
Well, we could use someone with those kinds of archery skills. Maybe they could join the resistance.
That's true.
Okay, I'll let him know to help himself to the buffet. Welcome to the Shadow Cats, Austin Katzenberger.
Welcome back to Sanity Damage, a Dungeons & Dragons Play Podcast. I'm your Dungeon Master, Nathan. Joining me are Cody.
Abraham Blavatsky, apparently very horrifying magician.
Pippin.
Tor. Well, it does balance things.
Ellen.
Being a dramatic bitch, in Zachariah's honor, it's Penelope Whitlock.
And Alex.
Orf, I'll just take the bottle.
Join us on episode 53 of our first campaign, To Whom the Sea Belongs. Last week on To Whom the Sea Belongs, you held a funeral in memorial of Zachariah, Kyle, and Two Drop. You all gave moving speeches. You discussed things with one another a little bit after the funeral. You got some item upgrades squared away, changing armor to fit your body types, attuning to items, things of that nature. And now it's time to have a war council with the leaders of the different guilds that comprise the Nightcats. For anyone keeping track, it is the 23rd day of the month of Rain Summer. It is the afternoon, and let's get into it. We've got Isak, Sapphire, Kennawan, and Raelon in attendance. Isak and Sapphire are still in their fine clothes from the funeral, so they still look very, very put together, formal. Kennawan is in his typical Wayfinder robes. Raelon is in his black leather armor. Raelon, in case you don't remember, is the leader of the Red Blades, which is the Assassin's Guild in Cliffs Bay. Raelon is a drow. He was not in attendance at the funeral. Kennawan was. He was just rather quiet, standing in the back with Mitska. Leon, formerly the sheriff, while there was a police force, is in attendance. And Isak's personal bodyguard, Derez, who is also a Leonin, is keeping watch over the whole meeting as well. So Isak will look up at all of you, gesture for you to sit down around the tables they've pushed together. There's some snacks on the table, there's some drinks on the table, alcoholic and non. And he will say, well, go ahead and take a seat. We've got to figure out what it is that we should do now.
Abraham approaches and sits down, lights up a cigarette.
Penelope's still a little tiffed at their conversation earlier, so she's gonna sit as far away from Abraham as she can.
Arf will go up and just take a seat right next to Abraham.
Tor, just kind of being absent-minded about the tension, just goes up and plops down next to Penelope, but beside Arf, just kind of in between.
Isak spreads a map out on the table. It's a map of Cliffs Bay. It's one you've seen before, but it's been updated to show that the Nightcats have reclaimed the fungal crags, so that area has little Nightcat tokens on it instead of Mind Flare tokens, or tokens representing the collective. Well, this was obviously at high cost, but it's a very valuable tactical advance that you were all able to secure, Isak will say. Obviously, the riverbed is also of great import. That's Sapphire's original home. It's the home of the Shadow Gloves. I'm sure it would boost morale if we take that back as well. I'm also thinking that it would be beneficial for a small contingent to secure the bridge between, or the bridge that runs through Cliffs Bay. If not the main bridge, we also have a small secret bridge that goes closer to the water level. It actually goes into the water level at points, allowing people to, it looks like they walk on water, but it's just because the bridge is hidden. We control that. That allows us, if you look at the map, it allows us to access all of the Nightcat area, which again is yellow on the map. We need to re-secure it because there's been some trouble with one of the oceanic hydras that has been brought here by the mind flayers. So if we could put that down, that'd be great. I'm thinking I should send some people there. As Isaac is talking, Sapphire is just shaking her head. Once he moves the conversation away from the riverbed, she obviously dislikes that.
All I am interested in right now is hitting the collective where it hurts the most. Where would it hurt the most?
Sapphire points directly at the riverbed. This was their home base. This is where Cephalosk was residing before he went to the fungal crags. We should hit them there hard, while they're still on their back foot. Kinawan will stroke his beard, his kind of fuzzy Githyanki hand, as he looks pensively at the map. And he says, both ideas have merit, but the riverbed was Cephalosk's lair, and Cephalosk is dead now, so what do we gain militarily from taking it? I mean, aside from a morale boost. Conversely, shoring up the land that we have now offers us magical items from the fungal crags, and if we re-secure the bridge to the western part of Cliffs Bay, that ensures that Heidi's herbs and information from Crackle's library are easy to access whenever we need them. Right now, those are both strong allies, but unless we make sure that we can easily get to them at any point, that might not always be the case.
Tor's in deep thought.
Raelon will interpret Tor's deep thought as indifference, and as everyone else is silent as well, he'll lean forward and offer his 2 cents. He'll say, speaking as an assassin, the Mind Flayers would more likely, they would be more likely to take us out when they perceive us as overextended. Taking the riverbed might offer short-term gains, but it would probably be long-term catastrophic if we press before we are ready. We've just taken one valuable location. I say we can't overextend ourselves at this moment. I don't know. Those of you who have been out on the field, do you have thoughts?
Ellen's personal thought is that fighting a water hydra sounds sick as hell.
Tor think taking bridge is best idea, or killing Hydra.
What if it was possible to push them all back into the riverbed, and once we've shored up our areas and the bridge that we need, we just bomb it?
Sapphire scowls. I don't think that would make long-term friends of the Shadow Gloves.
I'm just thinking about wiping these monstrosities out of our city.
As am I, child.
I think Penelope's gonna glare at Sapphire a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll glare right back.
Well, I am somewhat neutral. I am here to assist, but I think the major problem has been solved with the storm. Now it is just a matter of pushing in the right spots. I do think taking out their headquarters would be wise. Without their leader, we could really disrupt their entire organization, if that is what we intend to do. If we push them all back to the riverbed, that would only bolster its defenses and make it harder to take. But I'm also not from here. I don't have any personal attachments to any of these places.
You know, it seems like they might be expecting us to take out the headquarters, so maybe we should go for taking over the bridge first.
I'm inclined to agree. I think we should secure the bridge. If we have time, maybe fight a water hydra. If we have time.
Sapphire frowns and she will say, well, I think that the riverbed is what will raise morale the most throughout the Nightcats, given how much the Shadow Gloves make up the Nightcats. But I can say I'm outvoted almost unanimously. I do believe that we must retake the riverbed at some point. I also believe that we truly need to cooperate with one another, so I will follow your lead. I will follow the voices of the majority.
Abraham shrugs and says, can I just ask what assistance do Heidi's herbs and Crackle's library provide?
Sapphire will begin to respond, and Isaac will cut her off. Hard to tell whether it's intentional or just people speaking at the same time. Yeah, Heidi is a herbalist that has been making a lot of healing potions and salves for us. She's been really instrumental in bandaging up our wounds, especially the wounds that have gotten infected by Mind Flare crap. So that's been really valuable. Crackle's library is the books themselves. I mean, you know, I like a book as much as anyone else, but I don't find those super useful right now, just because I don't have time to go through and read them. Crackle does have time to go through and read them. He's not a fighter. He's a researcher. And so he's been doing everything he can to figure out more about the Illithids, how they normally fight, what their goal might be, what this irradiated air from the cloud, what all of that might mean. He's looking for answers, or if he can't find them, he's looking to try to figure out what other repositories of knowledge in West Danica or elsewhere might hold the answers. So that's important. I don't think that that's of immediate concern the way Heidi's healing would be.
And also, as a note, Nathan, by Heidi's herbs and Crackle's information repository, that's where the convent is, right?
Yes, yeah, that's where Penelope has spent most of her childhood and adolescence.
I see.
And so the convent has been turned into kind of a refugee center throughout the conflict as well.
All right, then. I'm on side bridge.
Now, do we take the main bridge or the secret bridge?
If we have main bridge, do we need secret bridge?
Well, the main bridge is past the riverbed. Sapphire will nod vigorously when Isaac says that, and she'll take over. If we're going the route of what all of you propose, then take the secret bridge first. That will keep all of our territory secure. We can then look at the main bridge from both the east and west, but taking it from east to west also takes us right into the proximity of the riverbed. So at that point, we're looking at taking the riverbed back as well.
I see. Well, sounds like that explains our plan then. If we're going for Crackle and Heidi and the nuns.
My dear friend, earlier my dear friend Abraham brought up the little issue with the lizard folk waiting outside the city gates. Do we have any thoughts on that dilemma?
There are no vocalized thoughts from the council at present. After a minute, Kinewan will stir and he'll say, "That's a truly terrible dilemma. This was originally their land."
Yes, I do sympathize. But, you do realize that if they throw out the West Anakins, the Tyingese will be here, then there'll just be a whole other war.
Oh, I do. And all of Kinewan's gray hair looks whiter. The wrinkles, the laugh lines under his eyes look deeper.
I don't know much about the, Tyingese, but I do know that they are not someone that I would like to live under their, rule. I'd rather live in West Danica, which I know they have their flaws as well, but, I think the lizard folk would agree with me after a few years of seeing how things change.
Perhaps. Any external entity is not as preferable as your own rulers that you've chosen. That is something we need to consider. That's something we need to talk about at great length and carefully. What to do.
They told me and Zachariah that they would attack when the cloud went away, and the cloud went away.
From the front of the lion's den, Nelton scampers in, and he says, "Hey, Isaac, Sapphire, Raylon, all of you there. There is a large group of people that are coming. They look wealthy. There's a lot of them. A couple of them look really strong. They said that they wanted to speak with you all. Should I show them in?" Isaac and Sapphire all glance at each other. They'll look over at you.
Sure. Let them in.
Sapphire says, "Yeah, bring them in. Send them in. It seems we do have our plan. Do you all feel up for the resecuring the secret bridge this evening, or do we need to get together some of our own operatives?"
Abraham looks at the rest of the crew.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Poor smiles and lifts his anchor.
Let's kill a beastie.
Let's do it.
Perfect. We have a plan then. Let's see what these newcomers need. And about a dozen people come in. 3 of them in lead. There's one that is a hulking hobgoblin with black tattoos on his bare arms, kind kind of in thorn patterns. And he will take a stand in the corner and just watch you all silently. And then behind him, or coming around so that they're now in front, there are two immaculately dressed, what look like nobles or aristocrats. One of them is a tall and thin half-elf with black hair that's graying and wings at the temples pulled back into a ponytail. He's got an ornate rapier in his belt. And the other one is a short and almost as white as he is tall tiefling, albino tiefling, with a lot of chins. He has a mane of curled hair that may or may not be a wig. It's hard to see or hard to tell. And they both approach. One of them walking as delicately as a swan glides on a pond, and the other one waddling much more like a swan on land. And they will, the elf will say, "Greetings, all of you. We are from Glitzcliff. I am Ryan, owner of the Elf's Wisdom Casino." And the other one will say, "And I'm Gluttony. I'm the owner of the Gentleman's Club, the establishment that deals in pleasures of the night, as you will. We're here because..." Yes?
No, I'm just gonna, for flavor, Penelope's rolling her eyes so hard at these two.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we're here because we've had a little bit of an issue, rather a large issue, actually. You see, Glitzcliff has been attacked, and although our private security is, I think, quite competent in general, they were quite outnumbered.
And then the other one will take over again. He'll say, "Yes, the locals from outside the city, lizard folk, snake folk, the like, they completely destroyed Glitzcliff. And we are looking for a place that, we recently declared ourselves an independent nation of Glitzcliff. That problem with that is that we no longer have a nation to rule. So, although it is not our preference, we are looking for some kind of alliance where we might perhaps join the Nightcats."
And you didn't think to form an alliance until now? The city kind of in ruin, being attacked already, and now you want to form an alliance?
Well, we were so concerned with protecting the real estate investments in Glitzcliff. There's a lot of money to be made there.
Yeah,
but
I don't care about the real estate investment of Glitzcliff. I care about the people fucking dying on the streets.
Well, of course, as do we. That's why we're here at this point, to make an alliance with all of you. If we pool our resources, we think together we'll be significantly more effective.
And what do you get out of this?
Well, if we finance your little crusade here, we, although our real estate has been most unfortunately burned to the ground, we are still loaded, I think is the term that the young kids like you use. We will finance your missions here. Once you complete them, then you will be well accommodated and set up for really for life, or rent-free or whatever it might be, with the property divided evenly between me and my associate here.
Well, better late than never, I suppose.
Isak and Sapphire are in some kind of staring contest, trying to assess which one will speak first.
Well, my vote is no, if I have a vote, which I think I deserve.
Raylon's going to stand and brush off his leather armor, and he will say to Isaac, Kenowan, Sapphire, and the four of you, "You all deal with this as you see appropriate. I trust your judgment here. I'm going to get back to strategizing on my own time." And he will excuse himself from the conversation.
That Tor was about to slap Raylon on the back to kind of get their opinion. Because, Tor doesn't as much care about the actual city itself. He was going to get one of its intern leadership to give their stance without, technically backing one of the two very at odds sides.
Right.
But that option is not there now.
What does Kenawan think?
When you say divide the property between the two of you, why do I get the sense that you're talking about the entire city?
Well, that's rather what we mean. I mean, we're easily the two wealthiest men in the city, so I think it's only proper that we divvy up the spoils once this war comes to a conclusion. We'll be sure that you're all in places of great comfort and well accommodated for this arrangement.
No, absolutely not. You think that you two fine gentlemen deserve to take what is not yours? Just because you have more coin? No, this belongs to the people.
Oh, honey, the city is ours. Either one of us is wealthier than the
I'm
entire...
done with this conversation.
Are you, like, leaving, or are you just ignoring them?
Yeah, I leave. I do not respect or like these men. I am going back up to my room with Raven.
All right. Penelope, make a perception check.
Oh no, can I use my passive perception?
Just this once, Raven will give you the help action, I think.
Can I use my inspiration to reroll?
Sure.
There you go.
Nice.
23.
I think it's the first time I've
Nice.
ever used inspiration. I think I've had inspiration in every episode.
Jeez.
Good use of it. Yeah, as you are making your way back down the hallway, you actually see a panel in the wall, like a whole section of wall, click closed.
Was it the direction that Raylan just went down?
It is the direction Raylan just went down.
Can I investigate?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Well, that's a 6.
Okay. With a 6, you find nothing immediately. Raven saw the same thing, and so she's like pecking at the wall. If you want to keep at it, then you can eventually find it. It's just gonna, with a 6, it's not gonna be an immediate thing. It's gonna take a little while.
Yeah, I'll keep working at it while this conversation's happening because I'm done with it.
Okay. Hey everyone, it's Nathan here, taking a quick break from today's episode to let you know that if you enjoy listening to Sanity Damage, I would highly recommend that you also check out Tabletopped. Tabletopped is a TTRPG podcast where the host, Nick Perrin, dives deep into how to run amazing games with a panel of DMs and interviews guests who are experts at designing TTRPGs, writing interactive fiction, and a lot more. I would highly recommend checking out the first episode of 2023, which has one of the most hilarious B-plots that I have ever heard in an interview format. Find Tabletopped on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday. Now, back to Sanity Damage. Yeah, Kenawan, although his decorum is a little bit better, he's obviously just as angry as Penelope is. This is... He glances at Abraham. It's clear that he sees this as the problem with West Annika. Regardless of the Tyingese, the West Annikans, this is untenable. So the three of them will start arguing back and forth. Isaac and Sapphire are content to let Kenawan take this. Arf, Tor, and Abraham, do either of you, or do any of you have anything further to contribute to this argument, or would you rather just let it play out in the background between the three of them?
Tor would chime in and ask, other than the few people you guys brought, is this all of your men?
This is not all of our men. You can see Deshai over there, and he points at the hobgoblin. That is one of our top security agents. We have several other private security as well. So we are offering really expert fighters to your company here.
Tor is thinking about something. Walks back over to Abraham and Arforth. What are you guys thinking?
You know, as soon as they said they wanted to split up the town between the two of them, I was out.
Yeah, me too. Trying to think of a way how to kill them.
Dead men don't need money, and dead men can't pay salaries, so we kill them now and fast. Not much reason for the soldiers to fight us.
You know, I don't know about if we need to kill them necessarily right now. They could be some help, but, I'm not going to let them split up the town between the two of them.
Well, do we agree to their terms then, and then kill them later?
I do not like traitors.
That would make us the traitors.
Exactly.
While you're all having this argument, it kind of mirrors the argument that the Kinawan, Glustony, and Ryan are holding. And Deshai, the other hobgoblin, is just eyeing both groups back and forth.
Well, as long as I'm not a part of agreement, I did not betray anybody.
Tor will walk out of the room, giving himself some wiggle room later down the line.
Right.
Some plausible deniability.
I can't be a traitor, but if I don't know that you're... Tor, would you be headed, like, back to your own private room? Or somewhere else?
No. Well, where's all the directions I could leave? Because I don't think I want to go just, like, wait up in my room, but I don't want to...
Yeah.
Just wait here.
Let's see, the other options would be, like, outside on the balcony where you held the second half of the funeral service.
Okay. Like, back past the cellar and stuff from the first day?
Yeah, so there's a couple side doorways directly onto the balcony, so you don't have to go through the cellar.
Oh, well, I know the cellar route.
Sure.
I'll head that way. See if I can go around a wall. And just go out to the balcony that way.
All right, there you go. So you're actually on a little secret tunnel there, as often you are. There's like a little cobbled pathway that goes down below the balcony itself. It goes around behind the lion's den, hugging closely to the cliffs. So you can explore if you want. Otherwise, you can just kind of hang out there.
Does that head down to the land bridge, like the bridge?
No, so as you're going along the secret passageway, this is actually opposite the direction that the land bridge is. So
Okay.
You're not sure. You're not sure where this would head.
Or just meanders around, taking a walk. Unless there's anything curious to that he takes note of, that'll probably be what he's doing.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to him traversing that little trail here in just a moment. But first, let's go back to Penelope briefly. So your investigation check was pretty low. You did see that there was absolutely a doorway here. Given your low roll, it's just taking you a long time to find the lever. Eventually you find a little loose, like, nail in one of the wall sconces nearby that finally pops the door open.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that was not an intentional hit. It was like she bumped her elbow on it.
Yeah.
Raven, I think this is a secret tunnel. Should we go in the secret tunnel?
Go in! Go in!
Okay. Bird says we're going in. We're going in.
All right. Yeah, and so you're in a cramped hallway. There's a steep stairway down, and then an abrupt turn, and the hallway continues for a long time down, unlit. Do you have dark vision?
I do, and I also have light cantrip that I can use if need.
Yeah, I figured you had light. I didn't remember if Asimar could see in the dark, so... Yeah, so you can see it's an unlit tunnel, but you can see that it just extends for a long way in front of you. So it keeps going beyond where it stops here on the map. And we will discover what you discover on the next go-around with your character.
Cool, I'm so glad I didn't tell the rest of my party I was going down a secret tunnel.
Right. Back in the lobby, the Ryan, Glustony, and Kinwan, they continue to argue. Tor has gone off by himself doing his own thing, but Arf and Abraham, did you want to say your piece or anything with these newcomers?
So what did they end up coming to any kind of consensus while we were talking, or?
It sounds like at this point Kinawan is just chastising them. It looks like he's trying not to just yell at them, but he's like, this is no way to lead. You have hoarded everything for yourself, and now you're continuing to attempt to hoard more and more, and that's not a sustainable system of governance. There needs to be both giving and taking. There's a time for planting your crops, and there's a time for harvesting them. And Glustony and Ryan are clearly just waving him off with their facial expressions.
Abraham will look at Arf and say under his breath, and he said, "You said you were out, right?"
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely not helping them. No way.
Abraham walks forward and says, "All right, well, it's settled then. You'll give us your men, and you'll get nothing, and you'll be happy with it. How's that sound?"
They both look dumbfounded. After a minute, the tiefling will grab at his horn and adjust his hair, and it's pretty obvious at this point it's some kind of wig. And he will say,
That doesn't sound very good at all. I mean, if we're giving you like our fighting men, then we deserve something in return, surely. And between me and Ryan, either one of us has more wealth than, one of us by ourselves has more wealth than the rest of the city put together. So,
Your lives.
Abraham's gonna slam his fist on the table and say, "You get nothing!" And he's gonna roll an intimidation check and take his form of dread.
Let me see what happens there.
Damn, maybe Penelope skipped out too soon. This is great.
Okay, so you got a 12 on intimidation.
Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as it could have been.
I'll have them both make wisdom saving throws.
They both have -2 to wisdom because they suck.
No advantages for the waste on that transformation.
I mean, that's fair. You can roll with advantage. I'm not giving you the crit that you rolled at the same time, I think, but...
That was not... I was not trying to sway.
I didn't get much better, I'll tell ya.
50.
So they both succeeded. What I'm gonna say that means is that they're not willing to concede, but they are deeply frightened of you still, from that outburst and from your transformation. Gluttony actually trips over himself and sits down hard on the ground, which is, if you glance over at his bodyguard in the corner, his bodyguard has cracked the faintest of smiles. Ryan takes a step back as well. His hand is on the pommel of his rapier, and he says, I see that it would be prudent for us to continue these discussions at a later point. For present, would it suit the owners of this fine establishment if we pay room and board while we continue these negotiations? I think that at least that is a reasonable agreement. Yes, you are an inn, and we are guests.
You are worms, and you get nothing. The negotiations are over.
At that, Ryan actually backs up a little bit more. Gluttony clambers to his feet and just makes for the door. He's like, I told you this was a bad idea. We should have gone and found somewhere else, or we'll go to the West African Navy. And he just makes for the door. Ryan, after staring you down for a moment longer, Abraham, he will turn and follow his friend toward the door.
Run.
When they open the door, Melton busts in again. He says, hey everyone, there's another delegation coming. I don't know, maybe something else bad happened somewhere in the city, but should I send them in too?
Now's not the best time, Melton.
Abraham, what crazy face you have.
All the better to fucking scare you with, Melton.
No kidding. I guess they have the uniforms of the West Anakin Navy.
I look at Kenawan.
Kenawan shrugs and nods. Isak and Sapphire look at Nelton. Do they have a white flag? Are they here in force? They're not here in force, it's just a few of them.
I guess Abraham will sit down and take a deep breath and straighten his collar. Sorry, I lost my composure there for a minute. I guess, yeah, let's just talk it out.
As you regain your composure, the room begins to breathe again. The various bodyguards in the room, Leon and Derez, they release their grips on their undrawn weapons. Isak and Sapphire seem surprisingly nonplussed. I mean, they've been fighting this battle for a while, so maybe they've seen worse. But whatever the case, after a moment, the West Anakin army will, or the West Anakin Navy rather, will make its way in. There's an old human man, frosty white beard, think like Alec Guinness, maybe a little younger than Star Wars, but that same sort of haggard expression. He will make his way in. He's got his flintlock musket over, strapped to his back. It has a bayonet attached to the end of it, and he says, Greetings, I appreciate you taking just a moment to see me. My name is Commodore Thaddeus. I'm with the West Anakin Navy. It is obvious that we've been on different sides of many arguments in the past, but I was hoping that we could come to some sort of arrangement, potentially including an ongoing legal arrangement after this is all sorted out. The Taiyangese Navy has gotten larger, and frankly, we need your help with it. So I'm here today on behalf of the Navy, along with my personal bodyguard and former first mate, Griffin Leadthrower here. And we're just hoping we can come to some sort of arrangement that is amenable to all parties involved. You can hear Sapphire under her breath. Here we go again.
What's your proposal?
Before Thaddeus gives his proposal, Tyrell, would you like to introduce your character?
Yes. The personal bodyguard, Griffin Leadthrower, is a large, heavy-set, bipedal hippo man in the garb of the Navy, medals hanging from his petticoat, and he wields what looks like a massive ship cannon as a weapon, as he carries it about with no small amount of pride. The words Tiny Tim carved down the side of it. He grunts with exacerbation, a pipe moving in his big hippopotamus mouth back and forth as he explains that we need, quote unquote, these people's help, and seems a little crestfallen by the idea that the Navy needs help from anyone outside of their own power.
Quite right. So it is quite tragic, the situation that we've all found ourselves in. But you see, as the Taiwanese have brought more and more boats in, the West Anakin Navy and the West Anakin Association of Privateers, some of you, I believe, are members of that. Anyway, the Navy and WAP together are unable to contend with the Taiwanese forces as large as they have become. We found it increasingly difficult to get word to the outside, so we request that you all sabotage the Taiwanese boats, as many as you can. We exchanged brief fire last night. Several of our boats were damaged. We damaged a few of theirs. None were sunk, but we need a smaller, more unscrupulous group of people to get aboard the Taiwanese vessels. Sink them if you must, but if you can commandeer them, that will really greatly turn the tide as it were, I suppose. Unintentional sea pun. But we think that your unique skills as miscreants and skullduggers, if that's a word, we think that you all would be rather suited to that. Should you enter into help with us, I think that although I think we would give all of your organizations a blanket clean slate, starting at the end of the war with the Taiwanese and the Mind Flayers. Assuming that we are able to remove both of those scourges, we might even instate some of you into official political office, trying to better represent the needs of everyone in our fine city. So, I suppose, what do you all think of that?
Wow, that sounds like a much more reasonable proposal than the last proposal. But we do have a lot on our hands. We don't have time to attack ships.
I see. Even in as large a collective organization as you?
Probably too busy lining the pockets of them eels that just left, boss. Told you we shouldn't come. Bunch of scruple thieves as all days are.
I look at Kenawan and say, do you think we have time for this? I mean...
Sapphire will, before Kenawan responds, Sapphire will look over to Griffin Leadthrower and she will say, I assure you, those eels left in disarray because we gave them absolutely nothing. Isaac will nod. For the first time, it seems Isaac and Sapphire are in agreement. He'll say, yeah, we wanted nothing to do with them. I think that we'll need to arrange different specific terms, but in general, I think that working together is how we're going to survive, right? Kenawan shrugs and nods. As for the exact mission, there are enough of us and our associates and underlings to work on both the bridge and the boat problem, trying to take the boats back. And Isaac will quickly clarify. Yeah, we've been trying to take back the main bridge that connects the two halves of Cliffs Bay. We think that that'll be a really valuable target. Thaddeus will nod. Kinewan says, I think it essentially is up to a matter of where we allocate our people, who goes where. So I would turn that to our freelancers, and then I think that between Isaac and Sapphire, they can work out where to send some of their associates.
Let's say we get the boats. Can we use the boats to fight in this battle?
That's rather the idea. The more boats we have, the more firepower we have. So I think that's beneficial too.
You're not just gonna use them to keep fighting the Taiwanese?
Oh, well, of course. I mean, I don't really see how we would use a boat to fight the mind flayers. They're already in the city. I don't want to fire on my own city.
I think a couple of well-placed strikes. But what do I know? I'm not from here.
Sapphire scowls hard at you, glares daggers at you.
I'm purely speaking from a tactical point of view. That if we got the boats and we pulled them around, we could draw them out to an open area and fire on that area.
Sapphire nods. That is true. That's a fair point. It's a tactical decision.
Where's your least favorite place?
The laugh was perfect.
Hey, Sapphire, what place would you not want to get? Would you not care about getting bombed?
Right, so at the same time, when you ask that, Abraham, at exactly the same time, Isaac and Sapphire say, Parliament. And Thaddeus, at exactly the same time, says, I'm standing in it.
I see. Well, maybe we can find a middle ground in the public library or something.
Abraham, Crackle is one of our friends. He's an ally.
Hey, I know. Why don't we just bomb the church?
Hey, you said it. Mysterious voice who's not... Well, it sounds like we have enough resources to accomplish this goal, and I guess, as I said earlier, wherever I go, it doesn't really make a difference to me as long as it's tactically sound.
Thaddeus will nod and dust his little shoulder frilly fuzzy thing. I don't know what those are called. Tassel.
I think they're called like epaulets or... No, wait.
That's a fancy word I haven't heard. Yeah, that thing. The thing that goes there. This is great podcast, y'all. And
epaulet, a type of ornamental shoulder piece or decoration used as an insignia of rank by the armed forces.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I listen to a lot of Decemberists. I think I know what an epaulette is. That's a very niche joke.
Facts.
Too niche for me. I'm sure some of our fans will get it.
They sing a lot about the Civil War.
He will dust off his epaulette and he will say, so if we are to work together, then I think that we should, during the alliance, obviously we'll have to draw up specific contracts and agreements and whatnot, but I think that it would be fair that as long as we agree not to fight one another, the ships that you commandeer are yours to divide up how you see fit. Furthermore, if we're going to work together, if you offer us some of your manpower, I think that it's only fair for us to do the same in kind. Griffin Ledthrow here, I trust him with my life. He is an expert bodyguard as well as a competent sailor and naval officer. So I do believe that he and other West Anakin naval seals would be more than willing to work with you as well. As we work on our various tactical objectives, both on the sea and in the land.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this could work out for both of us.
Indeed.
Fantastic.
Now I'll just have to confer with my compatriots as to where we will specifically be going, but I think this is within our best interest.
Excellent then. I will work with the representatives here to draft up some papers. You can talk with your accomplices. Griffin, a word, please. And he'll straighten up and gesture to the side of the room.
And he follows, thumping across the floor.
No, I greatly, I owe my life to you thrice over. I hope you don't feel that I spoke out of turn volunteering your services to our new allies here.
Nope. Made good judgment. I don't trust them eels. Better we have someone in their midst case they go sour. For the glory of Westonica, we can't let any of them do anything bad, like shoot our libraries.
That's exactly what I was thinking, old friend. I think that by having you in their midst, I think that we will be well situated to control the course of events as needed. Now I'll work on the legal documents, and you can hang out here. You can speak with the other men and prepare them for the 2 missions that we've discussed. But regardless, I believe that we will be moving on 2 fronts tonight for the first time in a while. That will feel quite nice, making progress.
Indeed. We'll get it done.
Tor, you're just walking along that little secret passage, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So it goes under the balcony, it goes under the lion's den briefly, and then continues along the cliffs, moving east. Eventually you actually make your way past the lion's den itself, and there's a sharp turn in the in both the path and the cliff area, taking you a little bit north and then more east. I'm not sure if Tor is directionally aware or not, but just kind of narrating where you're going. And you work your way around to actually see a couple entrances to a cave complex beneath the lion's den. Not directly beneath it, offset a little bit, but obviously connected to it as the trail leads there.
Interesting.
Just keeps going.
Sure, just keep making your way along, and eventually, you come to a cave entrance.
Nice.
Well, I've come this far.
Tor would kind of just start peeking around in the cave.
All right.
Is it illuminated at all? Giving the impression that it's used at all?
Yeah, so it's definitely used. You see racks of weapons and armor. This appears to be like the Lion's Den arsenal, essentially. There's a couple bedrolls. It looks like people were keeping guard here at one point. Actually, there'd probably be a couple younger members of the Lion's Den here as well. They would recognize you. They saw you at the funeral and such. They're playing like a little game of dice together over in one corner. So they recognize that you are an ally and just kind of let you go about your business. There's a couple lights here and there just illuminating the area. A little dock, a private dock allowing a water entrance into the area. And as you make your way around, you see a couple other folk. Now, go ahead and stop right there. So you make your way deeper into the cave complex.
Okay.
Penelope, so you're in that long hallway, making your way down. Raven is, of course, with you. Okay, so you're making your way down the hall. After a moment, it turns from timbers underfoot into, stone, or first dirt and then stone.
Can I send Raven to scout ahead and see through her eyes?
Sure. So Raven flies down the dirt passage. This passage has, the classic, mine shaft look, right? It's got the pillars and the joists holding the hard-packed earth in place. And as Raven keeps going, it takes a sharp right, and then you come into into a stone tunnel, stone cave, and you see Tor.
Oh, as soon as I see Tor, I'm going running down that tunnel. Oh, hi. How did you get down here?
I walked.
Same.
I came a different way.
Yeah, I kind of, I was going up to my room because I was really mad at those guys, but then I saw, a little hidden doorway close that I think Raylan went behind, and I thought, hey, secret tunnel. So I opened it, and now I'm here.
Tor will look around again, and then...
Seems like Lion's Den Armory, secret cave.
Huh. Why would Raylan go this way?
Didn't see him, don't know.
You can both make a perception check.
I didn't notice him, right? Oh, I can?
You did not notice him. Yeah, but you can both make a perception check now.
Oh, okay.
Perception check.
It's probably gonna be bad.
I can guidance you.
16?
Nice. Go ahead and add a d4, yeah.
Okay. Of course. 17.
Well, a 17 is good enough, so you'll be fine, Penelope. As you're talking about that, when you kind of fall quiet for a moment, you do hear shuffling and wet, squelchy noises coming from... Yeah, exactly like that, Cody. Thank you. That's coming from deeper into the cave system, not where Tor had been before, but if Tor had taken a right rather than a left. He took a left that ran him into Penelope. So, sounds like you just overshot something. Or someone.
Well, I guess Tor will go towards that weird sound. Which way
Alright.
did you say? Was it that way?
Yeah, is Penelope following?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Are we getting a little Tor Penelope side adventure?
Side quest!
Tornelope.
Hell yeah.
This is how the party gets separated and we go on a 40-episode diversion.
Yeah, we about to die.
We're gonna have to pick up Penelope and run again.
We just want to be curious little cats.
As you are following after this noise, this creature, you do hear 3 voices. One of them you recognize as Raylon's soft tone with the rolled R's. But you hear a couple other voices that you can't pin immediately. They sound just like people from the Nightcats, but not people that you've had any close interactions with, so you're not quite sure who they might be. And they're coming from the right of where Tor is, headed deeper into the cave.
Can I send Raven so I can drop some ease on these guys and listen in on their conversation?
Yeah.
Tor, do you mind if I hold on to your arm really quick? I can't really see anything when I go into this mode.
Tor will offer his arm, and this little dragon Myrrh is also going to crawl off of Tor and follow Raven down towards these sounds.
Nice.
This is so cute. We're holding on to each other because we can't see, and also our pets are going on an adventure. Are you kidding me? I know this is the Doom and Gloom show, but we got fun pet adventures.
Right. As Raven... Sorry, what was your other familiar's name? What was Tor's familiar's name?
Oh, you wanted a recap on the name. It's Myrrh.
Myrrh?
Myrrh.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have another familiar named Dur?
Wow.
Murder.
No.
Murder.
As Raven and Myrrh...
Dur is the name of the anchor.
Hudson has a familiar name of Red Rum.
Right.
Arf has a familiar. It's called alcoholism.
He's familiar with that.
Sadly, his familiar is just like the cut off fingers.
Oof.
Raven and Myrrh make their way around the tunnel. Tor, I'm just going to move your token because we don't have Myrrh out right now. And you come to an underground well, like a little cistern. As you're working your way around the bend, you see Raylon and 2 other members of the Nightcat standing there. Or rather, you see someone wearing Raylon's clothes. It's the sleek studded leather black armor that Raylon was wearing at the council. But it's not a drow in that armor. It's a mind flare.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This has been Sanity Damage, To Whom the Sea Belongs. Thank you for joining us on this epic voyage. We would love to hear from you, so you can go to linktree/sanitydamage to contact us and find links to all of our social media, our Discord, which I think is the best place to hang out with us. We're all pretty active there. It's a lot of fun. It's a great community. Always something going on. This podcast is a homebrew podcast. Our dice sponsor is FanRoll. You can get dice and dice accessories, bags, towers, like rolling trays, whatever, at fanrolldice.com. That's fanrolldice.com, and use the coupon code HOMEBREW for 10% off anything on the website. This campaign is dedicated to Brandon, who we hold in loving memory. To Whom the Sea Belongs is a sanity damage campaign set in the Kaleidosphere. Join us next week as we figure out this madness.